Battlefield 6 is a mess, is what I should be saying considering the fact it's a game that's published by EA. I mean, when was the last time you can think of an EA game that wasn't a complete and total mess at launch? I've been having a blast playing Battlefield 6 as of late, and I think it's one of the best titles in the franchise and might be one of the best FPS games we've gotten over the last few years, but don't take my word for it, just listen to some of these beautiful consumer reviews. Game tries to be Battlefield and COD at the same time, fails at both. Awful gunplay and constant desyncs. Game boils down to running around like a chicken with your head cut off. I mean, isn't that like Battlefield as a whole? Spawned, ran 5 meters, get sniped from another dimension, tank exploded behind me, game's perfect, 10 out of 10. There's just too much Call of Duty stuff in my Battlefield. Don't get me wrong, I like the game, but there needs to be bigger maps for conquest. Everything just feels too congested. My take is that the maps are a perfect size. I don't think there's anything really wrong. I mean, there are some maps that I think are a little too congested, but it's not so bad. Like, you are at least engaging in games. It's better than Battlefield 2042, where you're just running around aimlessly hoping you find somebody. Look, I've played about maybe 20 hours of Battlefield 6. I know that might not seem a lot since the game's been out for a few weeks, but I have a life, and it's truly one of the best experiences. There are some issues here and there, like the campaign isn't something amazing, but I don't think it's a 5 like IGN is saying. I would say my only complaint about the Battlefield 6 campaign is the dialogue. The dialogue is the hottest form of garbage. It's just so hard to listen to, it's super choppy, and to the people that are complaining about how they potentially stole missions from Call of Duty and reworked them to fit this narrative, like the mission that's basically Clean House.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up!
Call of Duty's been doing that crap for years, and no one said a single word about it. Like Call of Duty Ghosts, for example, literally stole the moment from the Batman movie where the plane splits in half and ends up allowing Bane to get away, or Rourke, or whatever you want to call him. They're both bald. Or let's just go with the extreme version of it and talk about how they apparently plagiarized someone's art and made it a bundle in Call of Duty Vanguard for players to buy. You can get upset about Battlefield being inspired by something that Call of Duty did and tried to fit it into their own narrative, but they've done this same thing numerous times in their history. There's also a moment in this campaign that just goes so hard. Like, there's a part in the beginning of the campaign where you and your squad are in this crashed Black Hawk helicopter fending off waves of Pax Armada, and it is S tier. It is just such an incredible moment. Of note with this game, and I kind of brought it up earlier, is the characters. The characters are not interesting at all. Like the gameplay, the missions, the story, it's all very interesting and there's something here, but the characters themselves, the way they interact, I don't know if that's the writing, the voice acting, but it's just very bland. They also kind of include their own ghost in this universe, which not a bad character, but if you really want to ask my opinion, he just kind of comes out of nowhere, and they don't give you much to work off of. But you don't care about the campaign. What you do care about is the multiplayer, because if you're gonna play a Battlefield game, you're here for the...
Alright, I know this looks bad, but it's actually really, really bad. Please come help me out!
This game is not a return to form. The pacing of the maps is awful. Maps are too small, barely qualifying as large. Okay, no. That is a lie. That is a straight lie. But what I can agree with is the UI is straight garbage. In order for you to actually play the multiplayer, you need to navigate this god-awful UI. This might be the worst UI I have ever seen. Whatever asshole invented this thing needs to be fired right now. This seems to be a trend in pretty much every game to just like one-up each other, develop the worst UI possible. But my god, why did we, like, what happened? Why did we shift away from menus that looked like this? They were easy to navigate, easy to find things. This is just awful. What are we doing? Why did we all of a sudden become Netflix? I get it's Halloween season, but for the love of God, can we end this horror already? There's so many different menus where you can have to find weapons, modes, different settings for your character. There's like side-scrolling similar to a Netflix menu. But once you finally get into a game of Battlefield, you'll end up being hit with this immediate nostalgia of Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. The gameplay itself is very fun. Yes, there's sliding, there's a bit of slide canceling. You're going to run into people that probably just love Call of Duty, but you can easily dunk on them. Like, the slide canceling doesn't seem to really work or add any real benefit. What I will say that was the most infuriating part of the game.
Guys, have fun. I'll just be hanging out, bleeding to death. NBD.
No one medics in this game. For the love of God, just if you're gonna play the medic, at least make an attempt to revive teammates in the vicinity. Especially when there's an attempt to capture an objective and like breakthrough. If you're the medic, you drop everything and start reviving everyone in your immediate area. That way you're actually taking control of that objective and keeping things going. Like, you don't want to be a medic just doing this. want to be a medic doing this. I've only really played 2 out of the 4 classes. I played a little bit of the recon on like one of the maps during a breakthrough game, but I've just basically been playing assault and medic. I tried to be better this time because in the beta, I think I just strictly played medic from the gate, and I'm trying to do better playing some of the other classes. But I will say the other big gripe that I have, and I know they've fixed it since the launch, is the weapon rank ups. Like it takes so long to level up a weapon in this game. Even after like, I think level 20 or 30, whatever they raised it to, it is still ungodly for how long it takes. There's not enough real camos that you get to unlock. I guess that's another issue, but over time, I imagine they'll add more. And maybe for you, it's very nice that you like having a gun that you can just sit with for a very long time, but I've literally been playing the game for at least 20 hours, and I haven't even gotten through the first AR yet. And I'm currently averaging like 30 kills a game. So I think that's not great. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think they need to speed it up a little bit, especially with the amount of weapons that are in the game, because there are a lot of weapons in Battlefield 6. I will say my biggest concern with Battlefield 6 isn't the maps that I do find enjoyable. The weapons I do find pretty balanced for the most part, and the classes seem very balanced between all 4. The post-launch for Battlefield 6 is very concerning because the content, while it seems like there's going to be a lot of it, seems like it's slowly inching towards being like somewhat unrealistic, and that they're very quickly going to abandon the realistic feeling of the game. Like sure, they might put some camo patterns on stuff and say it's still realistic or still with the feeling of the game, but it's not. Like they're inching closer and closer to being so like in Call of Duty territory that I think they're going to do it. Come like February, March, somewhere around there, I would not be surprised if that realistic feeling of the game is completely gone, just like Call of Duty does every single year. And from a publisher standpoint, I do get it. It's what sells. I completely understand things like the Snoop Dogg bundles, the Martha Stewart bundles, the Beavis and Butthead bundles, all that stuff sells. I completely understand that, but you've already marketed this game as a realistic FPS, and you're already starting to abandon that vibe and kind of turn a lot of heads that will look your way and say, well then what the hell did I buy this game? You're losing trust in the fan base already by releasing some of this stuff. No, it may not turn into something super bad like, you know, Beavis and Butthead, but I have a gut feeling that we're gonna start seeing more of these skins bleed their way into the game. Now, if this is the extent of it, and it's just basically like brighter camoed stuff, then I'm gonna be fine. Whatever. I'll just turn a blind eye, and that's not a big deal. But if you start including things like weeb content or, I don't know, like crossover events and stuff like that, then I'm gonna start having a problem, and then I'll probably just abandon this game altogether. Battlefield 6 is a fantastic game. If you're someone that has really hated how the franchise has been over the last few years, I think it's a great return to form, and it's very reminiscent of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, so if you enjoyed those games, then you'll love this game. Like I said, it does include some of the little things that are involved in modern games these days, like slide canceling or sliding in general, but it's not something that's so bad that's gonna deter you away from playing this game. On a scale of slamming and jamming, I would say Battlefield 6 is ABBA's Take a Chance on Me.